This is a guide to getting a Moodle page set up from the bare beginnings. This is what a Moodle page looks like when it's first created. It's got 10 individual sections and a general section, none of which have any content as yet. You should have a turn editing on button. If you don't, then you don't have the correct permissions and you need to check with me and I'll sort that out for you. So we're going to go in and make some changes to this. The first thing that I'm going to do is, I don't actually need all 10 sections, so I'm going to hop into my edit settings over here on the left under administration, and I'm going to change under course format number of sections to 3. Should be enough. And I'm also going to change this color here because I find that quite ugly, that unpleasant green background. So I now have only 3 sections plus this general section. I'm going to turn editing on, gets me into edit mode, and the first thing I normally do, this general section often I've seen it work quite badly as being a separate section. It bumps everything down the page and looks quite messy. So typically I'll say move section into grid. So now I effectively have 4 sections. The idea is the first section relates to any material that's general to the page, and then these other 3 sections are specific standards. Typically for a senior course there will be a standard, AS whatever, and for a junior course there will be perhaps a module. So that's the first stage done. Now the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the headings of these sections. It's just a matter of organizational stuff. So untick use default section name. I'm going to say general information. Actually I'm going to say course information, just because it's slightly confusing having general everywhere. And I'm going to change section 1, clicking on that icon again, to general in history, and I'm going to change, cancel, click the wrong button, section 2 to general hospital. You get the idea. It's as each section is needed for yourself, and of course you can go back into the edit settings and add more sections as you get more content that you need to add in there. I'm now going to add some images to make it look a little bit better. So change image for course information. I happen to have a whole bunch of images that I've just been on Google image search and grabbed. General rating. What's going on here? Suddenly decided it doesn't want to work. That was a little moment of fun and frolics. And change image for generals in history. So general history, as you can see it's very straightforward business. General hospital, I forgot to click the change image button. General hospital, and the last one looks like it's going to be general terms. I shall have to change that name as well. So section 3, general terms. So we're now set up, ready to go. Always a good idea to turn editing off and have a look at how it will appear. Not too bad, even nicer like that. Good. So clicking on these at the moment, we've got this light box effect comes up, but they're all empty of content. So now it's time to add a little bit of content in. Back to turn editing on, and first thing I'm going to do is add some course information. So I've got a couple of files here, 2015 assessment guide, so I'm going to drag that into the course information, drag and drop, done. And another one, the weekly planner, drag and drop that into there. Typically there's often you don't need much more than that in that sort of first section. It's not supposed to contain a lot of content, it's just supposed to give that general information, give it the first place to go to for it. Then generals in history. I'm going to, what am I going to put here? Firstly, I've got some files I want to drop in there, so I'll do the same kind of thing. Generals in history, I'm going to drop the activity in there for now. I can always remove it later. And I've also got all of these files in here about various generals. and I could drag them across one by one. That would take a little bit of time, not too much. I also could. It would also create a problem with there perhaps being too many files. It's relatively hard to navigate, so I'm going to go for a relatively cunning plan here, and I'm going to highlight them all, right click, send to compressed zipped folder. So I'm going to zip them up, and I now have a general denning.zip. I'm just going to call that generals.zip. And now if I drag this across to this section, unzip files and create a folder, I'll do that. And oh, it did that, yep. So I'll just have a quick look at how that looks when I hop into it. So it's generals in history, generals, and there's all my files. So that's a neat way of doing that. Also, a very common thing that we want to do is to embed videos. So I'm going to, here's a video, top 50 generals in world history. Fascinating video, no doubt. I'm going to hit the share button and embed it in that page. So all I need to do is Control C, or just right click copy and turn editing on, back into the generals in history, and there's a couple of options here. I quite like these days to just drop them into the summary for this page. So you see this edits the summary, so we're dropped straight into the edit window here. And what you'll often find is when you go in, it'll look like this. They hide all the useful buttons away from you, which I think is a bad call, but never mind. If you click on this button, the useful buttons appear, including this one, which is HTML tags, and you can just paste in what you had from the YouTube page. Hit update, save changes, and I've embedded that video. I'll also include a link. Here's a link here, copy that, and I'm going to add a resource, which is a URL, and external URL, paste that, and the name is generals in history page, and save and return to course. Generals in history page. One thing to note is we've got this little icon next to each of the resources that we've uploaded so far. Click on it lets me edit the name, generals word documents, enter, and it's renamed that. Always a good idea. Turn editing off and see how it looks. Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted there. At this point, you've actually done an awful lot of what people do with Moodle. You've shared resources and embedded videos, and you've made it look attractive, and it's well organized. You know, this isn't a bad place at all to be saying we've started from. You can also set assignments though, and I will quickly show you that. I'll show you a couple of other little details as well. So for instance, on this page here, if I go turn editing on, say I wanted an image in place, I can just drag and drop images. Where was I? Yeah, the generals in history. I can just drag and drop general pattern down here, and it'll say, do I want to add image to course page or create something that they can download? And I chose to just add that image in there. So what I'd like to do is, I've got this generals in history activity. That's a useful thing. I've also got a generals assignment one related general materials. So I'm going to set an assignment where students will be uploading files. So I'm going to add an activity, which is an assignment. So assignment name is assignment 1. Description, say whatever you like, needs to be relevant though. Submit your file here, something perhaps a little bit more useful. And then there are these options about dates, cut-off dates and so on, which are pretty obvious. I'm not going to go through those. And so file submission and maximum number of uploaded files, I always go with 1, and if they need to do more than that, then they would need to zip it up for you. And as per usual, that's all you need to do. The defaults are pretty good, apart from changing those dates, save and return to course. So now when the students go in, they will see this and they'll be able to upload a file which you then, when all the students have uploaded their files, you can download them in one big hit as one big zip file and go through them and do what you need to do. There's help elsewhere on the Moodle knowledge base relating to how that works. That's enough for getting started.